What's good, everyone? Welcome to another Livewire Sports Media update with Indiana Fever forecast. Now, today, technically, is I'm doing this video at 12:38, but nevertheless, tomorrow will be another important game for the Indiana Fever when they travel to Chicago to play the Chicago Sky, who in which they have beaten the Sky the the last previous two games. Now, we already know the headlines, we already know there's anthems, we already know everything that has been said in this matchup. But it makes for must see TV. It makes for great viewership, makes for great attendance. Um, like I said, the first time I did the video of these two matchups, it was about attendance, which the Fever won that battle. Second time, it was about who's going to get the upper hand. Fever came away with that. Now, round three, which they only going to have one more game this season after that. But the Fever are coming off a 4-game winning streak. Plus, they won their last 6 out of 10 in that stretch, winning 4 straight, 4 straight home games. Something that hasn't been done. They haven't won 4 straight since 2015, I believe, and I think they haven't won 3 straight home games, and I think around the same time, 2015, something like that. But nevertheless, we definitely gonna have to be tuned in because this game is going to bring a lot of hate. The first game was the Trinity Carter situation. Her abruptly flagging a foul, Caitlin Clark, which it didn't call, Angel Reese on the sideline cheering on. Game two brought a little bit more excitement. Game was pretty much in control by the Fever until Caitlin went up for a shot. She got hit over the head by Angel Reese. Some say it was dirty. Some say it was a basketball play. I say myself it was a basketball play because she was trailing her. There's no, and she went up to block the shot and inadvertently hit her in the head. Now, after that game, Angel Reese, she had some choice words with the media, told them that it was a basketball play, but they was going to play it over 20 times to the fact of the matter. Now, both of these young ladies are in the All-Star fan voting, which Caitlin is number 2 to Audra Wilson. I don't know what position Angel is, but I think she's in the top 10. I do believe she's in the top 10, along with Camilla. The Fever have Alyssa Smith, Aaliyah Boston. She's third on that list right now. So, and hopefully by the end, Caitlin be first, Aaliyah Boston be 2. But we all know that this game is going to draw a lot of attention for some of the most recent things, because people don't understand that that these two rookie Titans brings a lot of bravado. One is the darling of the media. The other one is the villain of the media. So you have pretty much Batgirl and Harley Quinn, so to speak, in this sense. But this game is going to be one of the games that is probably going to be a battle. Referees. Angel Reese already said last game the referees played a part of it. So do we expect the referees to do anything? Well, If you look at the Atlanta Dream game with the Fever played, the the Fever shot less free throws. They was 11. Even though if the Dream was a good team and they got to the line and they made these shots from the field, then yeah, I think the Fever would have had a tough game, you know. But the thing about it is, same thing can say about the Sky. They not good from the outside. They barely shoot good from the inside. You know what I'm saying? So, but I do want to go to the tail of the tape of these two individuals right here, real quick. All right, if you look at it, the head-to-head competition this season, it's not even close. If you look at what Angel Reese dominating in, she dominated in rebounding. She recorded her seventh double-double this year, making her, she broke the record of 6. And then she leads Caitlin by 5 seconds of a steal. So they averaging 1.9, 1.4 steals a game. But they're the only two categories Angel Reese is leading her in. You know what I'm saying? When it's head to head between these both teams. Overall, Caitlin's stats is way better, but you got to understand that these two play different positions. In the head to head matchup, Caitlin has they played 17 games, Chicago 14. In the head to head matchup, Caitlin is averaging over 16 points a game, plus the second game where she scored 23 in that game. She only averaging less than 4.5 rebounds behind her in this matchup. And then she averaging more assists. She averaging more blocks than her Angel is. She averaging more field goals, 3 points, free throw percentage, and everything. So if you look at it from the standpoint is that if people say, well, hey, you know, Angel Reese, you know, she's leading in the Rookie of the Year stats. But guess what? These head-to-head stats matter. These head-to-head stats matter because you could say, well, she's leading in the statistical category, but you got to take the whole totality of the situation. You know what I'm saying? Because what Caitlin does for her team is a little bit different what Angel does. Angel, she still, like, both of these girls came in at the same time. You know what I'm saying? So there's no excuse for either one of them because think about it, they had to go through the same thing. I just think Caitlin is a better all-around distributor with the ball. Now the one thing that people gonna throw up is her turnovers all the time. They're gonna throw up her turnovers. You know, she got all these turnovers. That's fine. you could have them turnovers, but at the same time, how efficient you are for your team. Yeah, Angel gets a lot of rebounds, but you know, she scored I think 18 points the last game, 20 points one game, but she's not really the leading scorer for the team. You know what I'm saying? If she was scoring for the team a lot and everything runs through her, then it would be a different take. But it's not because they have other scorers on the team. You got Marina Mabry on the team. You got the Shields on the team. You got Trinity Carter, who's a beast of an athlete on that team. And then you got Camila Cardozo, who could chip in and give you 10 points here or 10 rebounds here. The only thing about the Fever, they just don't have a true point guard. And that's the difference. And see, they don't have a lot. To me, I don't think they have the veterans on their team like you got with the Fever. The Fever got Aaliyah Boston that been there last year. You got Kelsey Mitchell, Erica Wheeler. You got Nalasia Smith. You know what I'm saying? You got Lexi Hall. You got Samuelson there. So these girls are a little bit better. To me, to balance out. But then you got Caitlin, who is the mainstream of the Fever, who you gotta pay attention to at all times. Yeah, if just like the last game, if Aaliyah Boston and Mitchell gets down there, Smith gets down there and start rebounding and get rebounds over Angel, then it's gonna make it hard for Angel to really focus on scoring because she gotta play defense. She can't really, and then she gotta play out from the basket because Smith or Boston is going to use presence to do the things that they need. Then that opens up stuff for Mitchell to drive to the basket. So it's a lot. This team, there's a lot of dynamics with this team, but nevertheless, you got to think about a lot of things that's factor. I just think right now, Caitlin Clark is the front runner for the rookie of the year is for Caitlin to lose. It's not up for debate. Her statistical standpoint is better. Her team is in a better position right now, especially they sitting eighth in the playoff right now. They say that if the Sky was to beat them, they'll jump them in that sense. But then what if Atlanta loses and they just beat Atlanta twice? How that's factor? They said, well, if Atlanta loses and the Fever win, then the Fever would jump to seventh. I guess the Sky would jump to eighth. Then I guess Chicago will have a chance to probably take over that eighth spot. So who knows? But I do believe the same result's going to happen again Sunday, that the Fever's going to win into another record sellout crowd, which it won't be at the United Center. It'll be at Wintrust Arena that holds only 10,000. So they're going to pack as much as they can, and they're going to have a lot of Fever fans there. There's going to be a lot of Fever fans there. Now, like I said, the key things in this game is how well the referee's going to play in this game. How well is Chicago is going to start defending Caitlin now that you got Smith, Boston, and Mitchell, they all scoring in double figures. Last night they had Katie Lou that scored in 10 points. Then you got Lexi Hull is contributing now. So, and I don't think Lexi Hull played that well in that last game. Now, looking at the stats from the last game, you could clearly see that from the last game that they played, the very first game they played. All right, box scores. So Reese had 8 points that game, 13 rebounds. All right, she only had 2 fouls in that game. So then you gotta look, and then you gotta think. Everybody for the Fever in that first game was in double figures. They had 5 people in double figures that game. It was Clark with 11. She almost had a triple double in that game. She had 11, 6 assists, 8 rebounds, and the leading scorer was in that game was Mitchell. And then you have Boston and Smith had 8 and 9 rebounds apiece. Okay, now you go down to when they played them the second time. Second time, Angel Reese only had 11 points, 13 rebounds. She only had 5 assists, 5 fouls in that game. Cardozo, who missed the first game, played the second game, had 10 to 10. Marbury had 22 points in that game, and Carter had 18. But guess what? Evans gave them 12 off the bench. All right, so look at this. Now, Katie Lou in the last game had almost was in double figures. She had 9 points, and all of hers was 3-pointers from the 3-point line. Clark led the team with 23 points, almost had another triple-double. She had 23, 9, and 8 in that game. Mitchell had 17. Boston had 19, but 14 rebounds in that game. Now, she didn't have no fouls, so that's going to be a key if what fouls she's going to pick up. Then Smith she had 15, and she had 7 points. I mean, not 7 points, but 7 rebounds in that game. So I just think the same thing that happened in the last 2 games is going to happen in this game. The Fever, the Sky do not have enough to account for the scoring output, because the one thing is, if you're gonna put a lot of focus on Caitlin, that's going to open a whole lot for everybody. And the last game, Lexi Hull had 6 points. You know what I'm saying? So that's a whole difference right there, because now she's going to be playing more. And the good thing is Timmy Fan Bentley is not going to play. If Timmy Fan Bentley was playing this game, they probably would have blown Chicago out. I think it's going to be the same thing. I think the atmosphere is going to favor the Fever a lot. It's not going to do anything differently. Now, I do want to bring up one key point is the attendance record and the sales record for this game. Last night, the Fever was down in Atlanta, and they played in the State Farm Arena where the Atlanta Hawks played at, and they had a record crowd of 17,575. Which, if you look at this right here, the rivalry between Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese had carried over to the WNBA, which it has because these are the two marquee girls from college. They're the head of the 2024 rookie class right now. And I could say Caitlin 1, Reese 2. With Cameron Brink being injured, she would have been number 2 to me, and Reese would have been 3. But nevertheless, now Reese, she's starting to make her presence felt a little bit more in the league. Now, I'm not going to do all that negative stuff or bashing her and stuff. I'm not doing all of that. I'm strictly talking about basketball. I'm not into that. I'm just talking about basketball and the impact which these ladies bring in. Yes, Caitlin is the front and center of all of it. But Angel Reese, if they want to, I think if the city of Chicago, whoever makes a decision on moving their games to the United Center, I think that would help the Chicago Sky attendance a little bit better instead of playing in a small arena, especially when you got somebody like New York coming in. Move that to the arena. Move that to the stadium. If you got somebody like the Vegas Aces coming, move it to the swing. You know what I'm saying? You got Indiana one more time. Move it to the United Center. Because technically, everywhere that Caitlin Clark goes, she sells out. It don't matter if it's away or home. Her crowd sells out everything. You know what I'm saying? If you look at it, I didn't put the statistical up, but I'm saving this for every. If you look at this, Indiana is averaging 16,045 fans per game. That's 5,530 more than any other team. So you mean whatever the team home or away capacity, they averaging just as much as that or more than that. That's astounding because, again, the Indiana Fever and Caitlin Clark are box office. They came to see them. Now, I'm talking about ticket prices for this game again. The average purchase for the ticket for the Indiana Chicago Sky game on Sunday was $271 on Ticket Picks, making it the most expensive WNBA ticket on record. And which is going to be that because they got another game, and then you got to think of next year. The way these teams are going to evolve and get better going into year 2, it's going to make this rivalry is going to go back and forth. It is going to come down to them, especially when it comes down to playoffs and championships and stuff like that. These two teams are going to break records consistently year in and year out, point blank, because no other team is that draw. You got one of the top people in the league with Breonna Stewart and Angel Wilson, but are you really thinking that let me tell you something, if you put the Indiana Fever and the Chicago Sky on ESPN, say at 3:00, and you put the Vegas Aces and the New York Libby on another network to rival them, who you think they're gonna watch the most? Because Angel and Caitlin is box office, is the draw. They want to see this game more than they want to see them. You know what I'm saying? So, according to the ticket marketplace, the get-in price for the game on TickPicks is $231 as Thursday evening. Sunday contest is the fourth time. It's 4 times more expensive than the get-in price of $57. In the last matchup Indiana had a week ago. And with that being said, that goes to show that while this will be the third time the Fever and Sky will meet this season, it is the first time these two teams will play in Chicago at the Wintrust Arena. The first two matchups was both Fever wins in Indianapolis, where the average ticket price for that was 122, and the second game was 124. So, so you got to look at it from a standpoint of these. They going to continue to make ticket prices rise up high. Now, do we think these two teams is a rivalry? Maybe, maybe not. But Caitlin Clark has some interesting words to say about it. And so I'll let y'all think about it yourself. Here you go.
I mean, I think we're just taking it one game at a time. And I think that's why we've been able to be successful in this stretch is because we haven't looked too far ahead. It's the game that's always just right in front of us. I'm pretty sure the only people that view this as a rivalry is all of you. Like for us, like it's just a game of basketball. Like that's what it is. And if it's going to help move the game forward, absolutely. Like that's amazing. That's what it should be. Like people could talk about it. I mean, yeah, I think I mean, I saw the ticket prices. I guess the only thing is like, I'm surprised we're not playing at the United Center. I thought that would have been really good for the game and really good for all the women's basketball fans in Chicago. So maybe there's a conflict of some sort that I don't know about. Obviously, that's a little above my pay grade. Um, but we're excited, one game at a time. You kind of got to wipe this and learn from it. And, we travel tonight and get there and practice and it's a prep and then you're playing the next day at 4 p.m. So, like I said, if that's what's going to help the game move forward, absolutely. And I think the two prior matchups have really lived up to what everybody expected and just really great basketball games, honestly.
And there you have it. Caitlin said it at best. The first two matchups lived up to what it was. Now, like I said, the Fever got the better of the Sky. Angel Reese didn't have her best output game. She only had 8 points the first one, 11 points the second one. And if she doesn't score efficiently in this game tomorrow against them and Caitlin was to get off, and because they're going to have to focus on Leah Boston. This could be another game where Leah Boston starts showing out again. Because if Leah Boston establishes herself and Smith establishes herself, it's going to make it hard because then you're going to have to pick and choose. This team is playing a little bit more balanced, not as erratic like they've played in the first few games of the season. So, and if they're going to try to focus more on Caitlin, that means Katie Lou, Lexi, Wheeler, Wallace, they're going to have to knock down shots. And if they consistently hitting shots from the outside, it's going to cause a problem for the Sky. And battling under the board, because, Angel Reese, she's a rebounding person. She works the board. And you got to keep her box out because she finds her way to the ball. No, I don't know how she do it, but damn sure she does it. So I can't knock her for that. She does get to the ball. She get to the basket. She get to the ball. Worrying about her scoring, I ain't worrying about her scoring as much. I'm not worrying about Cardozo scoring as much. You know what I'm saying? Because Marbury and Chinny Carter is the ones that probably you got to pay attention to scoring a little bit more. But not saying you just overlook Angel and Camilla, but the most of the points is going to come from the outside guys. You know what I'm saying? So, but I think it's going to be a fun game. I think the Fever is going to take this one again. And then I don't even care if they, once they take this game from them, I'm sure that the last game when they do play late in the season that they'll probably move it to the United Center. And then after that, the Fever will go on the road to play 5 straight games because after this game, they don't play again until Thursday. So with that being said, guys, give me your thoughts. Let me know what you think about this. Can the Fever make it 3 in a row? Can the Chicago Sky finally get a game against the Fever right now? And like I said, the playoffs jockeying is the difference right now. Depends on which one of these teams win. If the Fever win and the Dream lose, they jump to 7 tomorrow. If the Fever win by percentage points, that's what I was told. I don't see that because I don't understand the percentage points of it. But they said that the Fever will swap spots with um, the Fever will swap spots with the Sky if the Sky was to win tomorrow. So there's a lot on the line. Like I said, the storyline is tight. There's a lot on the line, and you're probably gonna see the Fever gonna come. I mean, the Sky gonna come out and try to, they're gonna come out and try to establish themselves. They're gonna want to make themselves known. They're gonna want to make themselves um, a little bit more tougher. You know what I'm saying, in front of a whole crowd. But like I said, some of that crowd gonna be Fever people too. So it's not gonna be too much. So I just don't want the referees to stop messing things up. But until then, guys, enjoy the game tomorrow. I will be back with a wrap up. And then I just posted a blog of the last game with the Fever win over the Scott not Scott, but the Dream last night. I will put that in the description. So y'all can check it out. Until then, continue to like, comment, subscribe. It's your boy Livewire Sports Media for Indiana Fever Forecast. Until then, I'll holla. Peace.